Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the weekly update for the week beginning March 30th. For many of this will be our first week of working remotely. I know we've had some offices and a few individuals that have been doing it a little bit longer, but it will be a week of adjustment for all of us. The last couple of weeks we've been, busy trying to get people home, and now we have to transition into figuring out what we're going to do to get people traveling again. Obviously, they're not prepared to make major decisions in many cases right now, but more importantly, we need to figure out how we work remotely. In talking with Lee and Moselle, who have been working remotely much of last week, there is definitely an adjustment. And in talking with a few experts in the field, one of the things that I picked up on is that it's important to develop a routine and a schedule that you follow every day so that you actually get some things done and that your days have a bit of structure to them. So, just would encourage you to think about your day and how you can structure it to be the most productive. I know that in talking with experts on remote workforces, one of the important things is the need to touch base with your coworkers every day, and hopefully the managers will be reaching out to each of you and or putting together meetings for you as a team so that you can touch base with each other and kind of figure out what's going on in each of your worlds, because you're now working in an individual silo, and you don't have the opportunity of sharing things throughout the day. So it's important for you to take notes, and if you have questions on things that, or uh, if your customers have questions on things, that you figure out how you can share experiences really amongst your team. I know that we'll be talking a bit on our conference call on Tuesday morning about some of the important things that we want to see accomplished. But obviously, this is a time when we want everybody to make sure they're utilizing their time to uh, get caught up on some of the webinars that are offered in Signet and some of the signature tools, which are really tremendous. And we want to be able to come back out of this downturn with a much stronger company. So we will have an emphasis on learning and trying to figure out what we can do to improve the company coming forward or going forward. You might notice that actually have a little logo wear on here today, and I'd encourage you to make sure that every day when you get up and check into work, that you maybe put on some logo wear. Remind yourself that you're not in this all by yourself, that you're part of a bigger team. And I know that for me, I come into my office, and it allows me to kind of separate out my personal life from my work life, and that's kind of the same thing about putting on some logo wear is something that will help you feel like you're actually checking in for a job, and not just it's not just a stay at home sick day. Um, I've spent a lot of the time the last week, just like the last 2 weeks, learning more about what some of the government programs are that are coming. And thankfully, we have the Federal CARES Act, which was enacted last week and signed by the president. And I listened to a webinar that was sponsored by ASTA on Friday, and they had over 8,000 participants on that webinar, and so it actually crashed, and I had to listen to the recording of it on Saturday. there wasn't a lot of new information. Some of the regulations haven't come out yet. The entire bill is almost 1,000 pages long, and so it's going to be studied deeply over the weekend. And I expect ASTA will be having another seminar on Monday afternoon to discuss the details on it. And in addition, Clifton Larson Allen, our accounting firm, has some experts that are studying the bill, and I will be talking with them on Tuesday afternoon, as well as meeting with our bankers on sometime this week to develop a plan as to what types of funds are available to help our company weather this storm. This is something that was completely beyond anybody's imagination, and luckily this CARES Act will give us some funds to help weather the storm. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how long this is all going to last, but I think we all have to be prepared that it's going to last longer than any of us can imagine. I really can't see people really feeling comfortable traveling until late summer or early fall, and even then there might be coronavirus cases or hotspots in parts of the country that are going to keep people from traveling, and so we have to be doing some deep preparation. And after meeting with the bankers and learning a bit more about the CARES program, I'm going to be spending much of this week trying to develop a sustainable plan to help carry us through the end of our year. The CARES Act does provide some individual relief for each of us as well. And, most individuals will be receiving checks of $1,200 per individual, plus $500 if you have a child under 18. So those funds will be coming out shortly. I think the government thinks that they can probably get them out to the public within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So hopefully you'll be watching for that. And I know there are some provisions that they're going to be sending it out through direct deposit. And as I learn more about that, I'll let you know. But in the past, if you have received your direct deposit from a tax refund going into your checking account or a savings account, they will be using that account. And if you haven't done that in the past, it's important to get signed up with the IRS because I think that's how it's going to be distributed, or that's the quickest way you'll see it distributed. So I'll be watching for that, and as I learn more, I'll keep you posted so that you can make the necessary preparations in order to receive those government funds. In addition, I know that this crisis has hit all of us really unexpectedly, and some of us have some maybe immediate financial needs that can't wait until you get the government check. And to that end, I've decided that I'm going to set up a Bursch Travel Emergency Loan Fund, and I'll be sending you some emails today with more details on it. But that emergency loan fund, I'm going to authorize up to $1,000 per employee with a no interest loan. I wish I could make it a grant, but we're going to be needing all of our funds as much as possible, and so I can't just give it out to everybody, but I am willing to give each of you up to $1,000. I don't even want to know about it. I'm going to authorize you to be able to request that amount, or if you need $500 to pay rent, or if you have a car that breaks down and you don't have the funds for it, these emergency funds will be available just by requesting it from Jennifer Carver in the Human Resources Department. And so I'll be sending you details in an email about how to go about doing that. But hopefully that will help tide you by until we see the government funds start to arrive. So, as I say, more details on that are coming, and more details will be coming on our financial plans going forward. But for now, we look at this week as being a week of adjustment on how we deal with working from home, and how can we be productive, and how can we increase our engagement with customers. The last couple of weeks, as you've been busy rescuing people from foreign destinations, obviously those customers are impressed with the service that they have received from you, and we want to reinforce that. But we also want to reach out to more of our customers, and we want to be able to be marketing to them at such point that the market starts to strengthen. So we'll be coming up with some plans, but hopefully you can use this time to be touching base with customers, getting emails, adding them to our marketing permission list so that they can be receiving some of the specials that are bound to come from the tour companies and cruise lines in the coming months. So, as I say, this is a week of transition, but I want you to know that we're here with you, and we're transitioning as well. And um, feel free to reach out to Lee or me or anybody on the management team. I've been especially impressed by how Sue and the accounting department have been coming up with information and procedures to help make your jobs easier. And some of these things we're putting in place to make the job easier, but you maybe won't appreciate it all until next winter, when you end up having to rebook these people and start utilizing their credits. But they have thought through a lot of these things, and I just want to thank everybody for doing their job and try to make this as good an experience as possible, in spite of some of the dark days that we've seen. So I hope everybody has a good week, and I look forward to talking to you all next week. Thank you.